begin the movement from. I rock back and start with the dumbbells in the bottom position, not in the top position. A lot of lifters use the method of rocking back while simultaneously pushing the dumbbells up into the starting position. But in my view, this is counterproductive because you actually end up wasting your strength by trying to push them up. So you sort of end up performing like a half rep and waste your strength on the actual set. Always rock back and start with the dumbbells in the bottom position. In addition, this set was a great example of muscular failure. Notice how I didn't attempt another rep here. If you get to the point in the set where the last rep is an all-out struggle, your arms are shaking, you're mentally buckling down and digging with every last bit of strength to get that rep out, and you're absolutely certain that there's no chance of you getting another rep, you can end the set right there. If I had tried to attempt another rep here, I probably would have moved the weight maybe a few inches, and that would have been it. So there's really no benefit to attempting another rep when you're 100% certain that you won't be able to move the weight even halfway up. Okay, so now we're on to the incline dumbbell press, which is pretty much the same thing, only we're using a bit of an angle here, usually around 30 degrees. Is a good angle to use for the bench. And this is another extremely powerful movement for building up the chest. Places a bit more stress on the upper region of the chest as well as the shoulders, but still extremely powerful at packing size and strength onto the upper body. And again, taking my time, pausing, clearing my mind, and getting ready for the set to come. Now on this set, especially with the incline angle, notice how I use my legs to rock the weights back into position. When you start getting into heavier weights, this becomes really important. You want to waste as little energy as possible getting the weights into position. The more energy that you use up, the weaker your set will be. Again, bringing the weights all the way down and pressing up just short of lockout. Every ounce of strength, every ounce of focus is on moving those weights as many times as I possibly can. Here comes the growth rep here. And again, just from experience, I know that this is my last rep. There's no chance I'm going to be able to perform any more reps here. So that's the end of the set right there. No use in attempting another rep. And when it comes to dumbbell movements and you're getting into heavier weights, by the time the end of the set comes, you'll be so spent and so out of energy that the best option is to just drop the dumbbells onto the ground. Now, every gym has its own rules about this. The gym that I'm training at here, they don't really care too much about people dropping weights on the ground. But if you're at a gym where you aren't allowed to drop the dumbbells like this, then just do your best to place them on the ground from the lying position. Or, if you do have the energy, you can rock yourself back up into the starting position. Now this is an exercise that I don't typically perform, but again, I wanted to include a variety of exercises here, even those that I don't typically recommend, just to let you see the whole picture. So on this one, you should be standing with one foot forward, as this is going to give you a really solid base to work with. Bringing the cables back until your arms are roughly parallel to the ground, and then squeezing all the way down until the handles cross. And notice the struggle here on these last couple of reps. As long as the weight is moving, you should be continuing with the set. The weights are moving, it's an all-out struggle, but as long as those cables are moving, I have to continue the set, I can't stop. And this is the growth rep right here. And that's failure, there's no way I'm going to get another rep here. Again, I don't recommend including cable crossovers in your routine unless there's a specific reason why you need to. It's an isolation exercise, it limits the amount of total stimulation that you can achieve, and it really just isn't an efficient lift for maximizing your chest development. There's almost no situation where you should bother implementing this exercise. Heavy presses are way more effective many times over. Okay, so machine bench presses. Again, not an exercise that is necessary to include in your routine. It is a pressing movement, but it's a machine press, which, as you know, is not as effective as the free weight variation. But there are still a couple things that I want to point out here. Now, notice how the handles force me to keep my arms on a fixed plane, and this reduces my ability to move naturally throughout the movement. I'm stuck on that one plane of movement, and this increases my chance of injury. In fact, I even remember after I performed this set, I actually was getting sharp pain in my left shoulder that I did not experience during my dumbbell presses. The only time I would recommend this exercise is if you have no other choice. Maybe you're at a hotel or something and they have, a fitness center with one of those universal gyms or something, and that's your only option. But other than that, there's no reason to include this exercise in your routine. Free weights are always going to be a better choice. Another point that I want to make here, you have to remember that muscle growth is not merely a localized event that happens at the level of the muscle tissue. Muscle growth is largely a result of total body stress that forces your body to secrete higher amounts of anabolic hormones and therefore pack more size and strength onto your entire body. So you might perform a set of machine presses and you'd feel it in your chest, you'd get a nice pump, you'd be sore the next day, but that's not the key issue here. Since machines balance the weight for you, the exercise becomes significantly less difficult and less stressful, and therefore machines limit the amount of total stress that you can place on your body, and this compromises the muscle growth response. There are definitely some machines that are very effective since they allow you to perform movements that can't be duplicated with free weights, such as leg presses or certain ab and calf exercises, but when it comes to pressing movements for the chest, free weights are always a better choice. Now these are an awesome movement for packing size and strength onto the mid-back and lat area. And you can perform these using a barbell or dumbbells. Either one works just fine. Now you want to bend over here until your upper body is just above parallel to the ground, as this will create the proper balance between protecting your lower back while keeping the stress on the target muscles. But you definitely don't want to bend too far forward here. Now, using a full range of motion, pulling the dumbbells up into your waist and lowering them down as far as you comfortably can. It's also really important to make sure to stick your butt out as far as you can, as this will keep your lower back flat. Now this is a pretty challenging exercise, as you can see here. And that's muscular failure right there. A lot of people have difficulty on this exercise when starting out. You'll often find that it's tough to keep your lower back flat